Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day to check the video out and spend some time with me, because today we're going to be talking about the tournament organizations that have basically sold out to the electronic companies and basically just said, screw the sport. You know, we don't care about the future of the sport. We want the money. We want those big retainers and that big sponsorship dollars from the electronic companies. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, just a quick invitation before we get started. I'd like to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. Free and easy to do so, man. You can unsubscribe at any time you want. Right now, we've only got like 30% of the people that watch the video subscribe, so that's a good way to support the channel. And also, thanks to everybody that's been using all the links that I have in my video descriptions for your tackle purchases. I really appreciate that. Okay, one of the things about this whole live scope forward-facing sonar deal is every single time, guys, that I see the tournament organizations or the media or whatever trying to normalize this crap, I'm going to speak out on it. And I'm going to remind everybody that freaking live scope and forward-facing sonar is the devil. It is. And I want to keep pounding this into the collective consciousness of the bass fishing world until, it becomes common thought. Now, here's the thing about it. One of the smartest people that I know in my entire life, that business owner, guys, just impeccable integrity, just look up to this individual, unbelievable. He always tells me, he goes, Randy, he goes, money corrupts everything. It does. And if you look at our society, we've got billionaires that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to influence elections. We have city zoning and planning commissions that are in cahoots with these developers to basically skirt environmental laws and put up housing developments wherever they want to without any type of environmental impact surveys. We see it over and over again about how money corrupts everything. It does. It's the root of all evil. That is the truth. That is the reality of the situation. And we're seeing it in bass fishing in a big way right now. So here's what's happening. I want to just keep you guys abreast of. There has been a concerted effort amongst the electronic companies to basically buy out some of the tournament organizations in this country over the past year specifically. I know from several reliable sources that one of the major tournament organizations were getting ready to implement some very strict rules against forward-facing sonar, maybe even eliminate it, but definitely, cut it back tremendously. And once this one major electronic company heard that they were going to do that in the meeting, they basically went to them, set them down in the meeting and said, you guys name your price. What is your price to keep forward-facing sonar completely legal in the tournaments? And of course, they capitulated to that. Here's what you have, guys. Now, there's not all the tournament organizations, but some of them, like the NPFL and others around the country, don't buy into that. But any tournament organization that is subsidized by the electronic companies in 2025, that subsidization primarily comes from forward-facing sonar, and they have been corrupted by that. It's like they have sold the sport out. They have sold the future of the sport out to make a buck. There's no other way around it. Forward-facing sonar is the most destructive thing that has ever happened to the sport on every metric you measure it by. And here's what I want to talk about here, about how they ignore everything. Number one, I've talked a lot of this whole about how it destroys the tradition and the mystery and the magic of the sport. That's sort of an abstract way of looking at it, yet it is the most important in my opinion. But when you're talking about realistic, like how you can actually, write something down and put some reality to it, number one is there has been a big effort amongst a lot of industry reps in this country to basically go to the tournament organizations and say, look, you guys have got to do something, or we have got to get rid of this forward-facing sonar because it's devastating our tackle sales in non-forward-facing sonar categories. Because forward-facing sonar lures are pretty much limited to stuff like swim bait and finesse stuff, maybe a few jerk baits, Nico rigs, that type of stuff, where all of your other lure categories, traditional bass fishing categories, bait casting outfits, sales are tanking, and those sales are tanking because of forward-facing sonar. Retailers have been suffering from it. They've seen it in a big way. Second with that, we've talked all about, how it creates this unlevel playing field, the income disparity that creates. Some anglers can afford it, some anglers can't. They still have to compete under the format that it is legal in the tournaments. So you have this discrimination that occurs within bass fishing, specifically bass fishing tournaments, over the people that can afford it and people that can't afford it. And then also, finally, you talk about the sustainability, about how forward-facing sonar is damaging our fisheries as people get more adept at it. People use it more. Bass are dying from the barotrauma issues, from getting it caught deeper. Any freaking tournament I go to anymore, guys, that's forward-facing sonar dominated, which is most every one of them, you go down to the live release tanks and 90% of the bass are floating up on their bellies because they've been caught so deep and they haven't been fizzed. Most of those fish, even after they're fizzed, are going to die from barotrauma issues, damage to their eyes, damage to their internal organs, all as a result of forward-facing sonar. So in essence, what you have is you have got tournament organizations that are supposed to be the adults in the room and supposed to have the future sustainability of our sport in mind. They are saying, it's not a speculation, they are saying this: to hell with the sport, screw the sport, we don't want to hear it, we're going to take the money from the electronic companies. That's what we're going to do. We run a business, this is a for-profit business, we're going to make a profit. We don't care what the fishing is going to be like in 25 years from now. That is effectively what these organizations are saying when they do that. And I've been privy to have some contact with tournament organizations, some of the people that run it, and I can tell you right now, guys, they are influenced and they do not want to alienate, and they do not want to they don't want to cause waves. They do not want to lose that electronic company sponsorship money. They don't. They're willing to throw their integrity and their ethics and morals aside just to get that, annual retainer that they get from those electronic companies. So the point of the matter is we as a collective group of anglers have the power to make a change here. And when you see a tournament organization that has capitulated to the electronic companies, call them out on it. You need to shame them about it. You need to embarrass them about it. You need to let them know that we see what's going on here. You guys don't give a crap about the future of the sport. You don't give a crap about the tradition and the heritage and the ethics of the sport. You don't give a crap about what bass fishing really is. You don't give a crap about the other tackle categories or the tackle manufacturers and retailers that are suffering from this. You don't care. All you want is that freaking check from the electronic companies. And we have seen this take over the sport to a level that, I had never thought that we'd get to this point, but here we are. So never normalize it, guys. Never get complacent. Never accept the fact that this is just the way it is. That's progress, technology, and change. That's all a bunch of propaganda BS. We don't have this, because I can guarantee you guys, I don't care if it's Bassmaster, if it's MLF, or if it's any AAA level tournament circuit out there. If there wasn't electronic company subsidization that goes into those tournaments, forward-facing sonar would have been banned years ago, because people don't want it. The majority of bass anglers in this country, the vast majority of bass anglers in the United States, are outraged and disgusted by forward-facing sonar. Yet the tournament organizations, they turn a blind eye to that, and they cater to the vocal minority, that 15 to 20% of the vocal minority that has a vested interest in keeping this legal. That's who they cater to. But it's all about the money. Again, I challenge anyone to prove me wrong on this. If tomorrow the electronic companies completely pulled out of the sport, whether they didn't have any influence over Bassmaster, no influence over MLF, no influence over anything, I can assure you forward-facing sonar would be out the windows quick as the Alabama rig was with Bassmaster. So let your opinions known, guys, because you do have a voice. Leave comments on social media. Send Bassmaster, send MLF, send any tournament organization that allows forward-facing sonar emails. Shame them, make them feel bad about it. Try to undermine anything that they do that encourages the use of forward-facing sonar. And eventually, once this starts making headway, which it is already, we've made a tremendous amount of progress over the past 6 months in our fight against forward-facing sonar, we're going to get this changed. And we're going to get bass fishing back to where it was great at one point, where you actually had to fish to find fish and you didn't have to rely on a damn umbilical cord to show you where the fish is at. So if you're like me and you're disgusted and you're outraged at how the fact money has corrupted the sport and how money has corrupted the tournament organizations. Just speak out, because we all have a voice. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk later.